Currently, there are 4 collections in the Armory flashing their last chance signal. Now, if you had to guess, which one do you think has the best ROI? You may think it to be one of the under-redeemed collections, as redemptions have sped up quite significantly since the last chance signal was added. Maybe Train, maybe Sugar Phase 2, but you'd be wrong. And that's because the best ROI in the Armory right now is not even really a collection at all. It's the AK Aphrodite. The AK Aphrodite has been slept on for a while now, so it's nice to see it getting its flowers. But if there's one thing a math degree taught me, it's that ROI is usually a lie. So let's walk through why the ROI is a lie. Because it's a lie in a bad way, but it's also a lie in a good way in another sense. And it all culminates into the AK Aphrodite probably being one of the better opportunities within the Armory currently. So stay with me, the math will be brief. If you have any further questions about the AK Aphrodite or the math underlying it, feel free to join the Twitch stream tonight. We'll do an update watch. I think it's that time, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we'll just answer some questions, have a good time. If you want to join, feel free. If not, oh well. Now back to it. Now to understand the ROI behind the Aphrodite, which currently sits at 125% roughly, you need to be aware of what ROI actually means. For it is a prediction, but it is not a random prediction. It is a prediction based on certain factors. And that main factor is going to be the value you get from redeeming the collection over time. How many times? Infinity times, right? ROI is a concept because infinity is a concept, right? You can't redeem anything an infinite amount of times because infinity doesn't exist. But that's what ROI is based on. So what it's saying is if you redeem the limited edition item ad infinitum, what's going to happen is that your ROI will go above 125, below, but over time those peaks and valleys start to get smaller and smaller before tending towards 125. And what's the 125 coming from? What is it based on? Well, it's based on a few things that have to do with the AK Aphrodite, right? It has to do with the prices of all of the wares within the Aphrodite. It has to do with the $50 or 125 star redemption. It has to do with the float distribution and the percentage chances of getting each specific wear. The ROI on these websites assume there's no pattern bonuses, which does increase your ROI, but we'll get to that. And of course, we're assuming the redemption volume will stay the same, and subsequently listings and purchasing volume, etc. So all of these things are inputting themselves into the 125% ROI. Change one input, you change the ROI sometimes completely. But all of that has to do with the long run, infinity. If you only redeem the Aphrodite once, you should not, under any circumstance, expect an 125% ROI. You should, in fact, probably expect literally anything else. Now, you might be asking yourself why I'm so sure of this, but it's a mathematical statistical law that I didn't make up. The law of large numbers. And it pretty much guides every probabilistic event in the world, and you don't even know it exists. Anyone who has a lucky story in the Armory is just beating out the variance because they haven't opened up the Armory enough times to actually get a valid result. But instead of using the Armory because it's a little bit complex, let's use a very simple example, rolling a die. Let's say you want to roll the number 3 on a die. What's your chances there? 1 in 6. 6 faces. One of those 6 faces has a 3 on them, thus 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 3. So every time you roll the die, you have a 1 in 6 chance. But if you actually roll the die 6 times, you may get 2 3s, you may get 0 3s, you may get 4 3s. That doesn't magically make the odds of rolling a 3 4 out of 6. It's just that you didn't use a large enough sample size. Well, now you take that same die and you roll it 6,000 times. Now, the amount of times you roll the 3 will probably be in that range of 900 to 1100. So as you can see, we're getting closer to 1/6. Go up even more, 6 million times. Well, now you're probably somewhere around 990,000 to 1,010,000. So you can see how that range is never going to be perfect, but it slowly over time gets closer to 1/6, right? The dice didn't change, your luck didn't change, the sequences of 3s that you got in a row didn't change. It's just that over time, your sample size, large N, it's how casinos operate, it's how the Armory operates, it's how cases operate. And if you get yourself to a point in which you have a large sample size, you're going to either benefit or negatively benefit from the ROI listed. But let's go back to CS2 and use an example that we can understand. The Train 2025 souvenir package. I choose this one because souvenir packages, you cannot trade up any items within it, so none of the supply numbers are skewed. And as we know, the Train collection has 2 0-1 pinks, meaning that the odds of getting either one is the same. The odds of getting factory new in either one is the same. So we take the souvenir M4A4 Hellish. The M4A4 Hellish has 3,313 total souvenir guns in supply. Of those, 74 are factory new. And then we look at the MP9 Latte Rush. Here, there's 3,465 souvenir MP9s, 99 of which are souvenir factory new. Now, if probability worked in the way in which you thought it would intuitively, those numbers would be exactly equal, the factory new ones exactly equal, but it's never going to be exactly equal. But as the number of trained souvenirs goes up, those discrepancies, that 74 and 99 will get closer, that 3,300, that 3,400 will get closer as we tend on, or at least the percentage difference. It's not necessarily broken math, right? The drop rate is still 3%. It's just incomplete math because we haven't gone to infinity yet. So in a way, any set or sample size you look at is technically incomplete because we'll never get to infinity because infinity doesn't exist. And that's what's underlying your Aphrodite ROI. Now, if you want to know where to buy an Aphrodite, a quick word from today's sponsor, skins.com. Skins.com is the newest sponsor on our channel. They have just released a P2P trading platform looking to compete with the best players in the space. If you don't want to wait that long, they do have an insta-sell feature on the site in which the rates are the best I've seen, just straight up. When the market is down, everything is on sale. And with the deals you're getting on skins.com, you could start your position basically up 20 to 25%. Try out skins.com and be a part of the future of CS2 skin trading. So when you redeem an Aphrodite, here's what's happening on your screen. It's not like a case where you have to worry about a blue rarity, a purple rarity, a pink rarity. You have to worry about the floats first and foremost. Factory new, 3%. Minimal wear, 24%. Field tested, 33. Well worn, 24. Battle scarred, 16. So at the current prices, there's a 27% chance of profit. Asterisk. We'll get to it. Why 27%? Well, minimal wear is above $50, the cost of redeeming an Aphrodite, and factory new is profit, so 24, 3, 27%. And even then, 24 of that 27% is pretty much break even with the minimal wear price sitting where it is right now. So in that sense, it's probably not even worth the time you spent in game to get the return in which you're getting. All of that ROI is coming from the 3% chance you have a now relatively inflated Aphrodite price in factory new. The market has finally realized how rare factory new Aphrodites will be, and that is why you've seen such a wide gap up. Technically, it's still undervalued. 3% chance, $50 should be around $1,650, but it's still below that. It'll never hit that price, but that is the theoretical floor for factory new. But sometimes you get a field tested skin and it's profitable. Why? The pattern indexing that occurs on the Aphrodite, right? 1,000 different patterns and each one different from the last. Not all skins carry this, but all limited edition items have. So I imagine that's the way in which they're driving redemptions more than once per person, because if it's the same skin every time, realistically supply is going to be incredibly low because ROI will simply disappear until it's discontinued. You have bronze gems, gold gems, purple gems, pink gems, a bunch of different shit. The only ones that seem to be getting a relative amount of overpay are the purple gems and the pink line pink gems Aphrodite. And those, much like factory new, account for roughly 3% of all outcomes in the 1,000 patterns available to you. So 3% chance of factory new, 3% chance of hitting the best patterns, not the single best, just one of the 30 pink or purple patterns. You have a 0.009% chance of hitting these specific guns, or 9 in 10,000. So you're looking at what, $50,000 you have to spend to hit one of those? Realistically, in factory new, perfect condition, 50 times 1,000, yeah. So that's rarer than a knife. It's rarer than a factory new Tech 9 whiteout. It would be one of the rarest skins in the game. And that is certainly reflected in the price, but it's not reflected in the ROI. The ROI only takes into account the floor prices. So at 125% ROI on skins that have these floors is pretty good, because your field tested skin can become $100 and thus profitable if you hit one of these random patterns. Now, is it enough to raise the ROI significantly? No, but it probably goes from 126 to like 128 realistically. I would say, but here's the thing. Unless you have, I'd say 33 Aphrodite rolls ready to go in your armory right now, which would be, what, 1,500 stars? You're not going to be able to take advantage of the ROI. If you want the ROI to be decent, you realistically need to guarantee yourself one factory new. 33 rolls doesn't guarantee you a factory new one, but it gets you pretty much there the same way if you open 400 cases, 2/3 of the time you're gonna get a knife in those 400 cases. It's the same thing with the Aphrodite at 33. And that's because a 3% chance. But 33 rolls cost $1,650. A factory new Aphrodite floor price right now is probably around $500. So is there a point in redeeming the Aphrodite right now? Probably not. You could probably expect a return on buying an Aphrodite outright right now because it's below its theoretical floor, 3% at $50 per roll. So it just makes no sense in a probability way to be redeeming the Aphrodite unless you have large capital and large amount of stars behind you. And that's why your ROI is a lie. If you do have this many stars, you can benefit from this ROI. You could pretty much expect an 125% ROI if your amount of redemptions goes past 50, past 75, past 100. In fact, you might have more ROI than 125% when you're at 100 openings, 200 openings. But when you get to 1,000 openings, 10,000 openings, that's when you start to trend downwards towards 125. So if you could beat that variance and get out before, so if you could beat that variance and you don't have to keep opening to get up to 125, if you're above 125, get out. That's the smartest way in which to pretty much do anything that has to do with probability ever. Here, casino, wherever the fuck you may be, that's where you do it. Now, apart from the actual numbers behind it, the Aphrodite will probably do well long term. It was extremely undervalued in the first couple of weeks, which led to a subsequent lower amount of redemptions when it was first out, and that's when the hype would probably be the highest, right? So it has less redemptions from those hype generating weeks at the start of season 4 in January of this year. Redemptions have continued to be steady. There's nothing crazy there. There's like 100,000 of them, but there's only around 5,000 of them in factory new because it's a 3% drop rate. 1,000 patterns means there's 5 of each in factory new, roughly. As we said, law of large numbers. Some may have 6, some may have 3, some may have 0, but right now there's on average 5 of each. But again, the most important part is not about the actual supply number. It's like the M4 Solitude or the M4 Fade in this way. What really matters here, what really drives your price is the 1 out of 1,000 chance you get any of the 1,000 pattern indexes that can be applied to it in game. And that's why the limited edition items sort of work like a case, and they're very ingenious in that way, because while you think you're just getting an AK Aphrodite for your $50 price point, and you are technically, you have a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting the best AK Aphrodite, and then you have a 3% chance of getting factory new, or a 24% chance of getting well worn and the worst pattern. So you actually aren't getting the same skin every time, not even close. In fact, there's an infinite amount of guns that you can get from that one limited edition item. But if you like the skin and you want to redeem one, go for it. It's a good looking skin. I think it'll do very well in the future. People who want to maximize return and profit and efficiency in the long run. If you like to collect and you want to just take your chance at getting something good, by all means. At the end of the day, it's a video game. You should not feel any ill will towards liking a skin and having it go down. I bought my AK Nouveau Rouge at like $350. It's like a $120, $130 right now. I don't care. It's still a fucking goated skin. So there's your answer. ROI is a lie at 1 roll. It's a lie at 10 rolls. But it doesn't become a lie when you do it 50 times and you do it 100 times and you do it 1,000 times. So if you want to actually use that number you see on the screen, you have to know where you are before. So that's the AK Aphrodite declassified. Cheers.